What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved actors walks onto a talk show expecting a friendly chat, only to face a host who seems determined to humiliate him in front of millions? In just 44 seconds of chaos, a single comment would shatter the facade of professional courtesy and expose the dark side of celebrity interviews. Tom Holland settled into the iconic red chair, his easy smile lighting up the studio. The audience erupted in applause, their excitement palpable. He waved, genuinely grateful for the warm welcome. This was supposed to be fun, a chance to promote his latest project, share some laughs, connect with fans. Graham Norton leaned back in his chair, a smile playing at his lips. But there was something different tonight. Something off. Tom Holland, everyone, Graham announced, drawing out the name with an edge that made a few audience members shift uncomfortably. The man who can't keep a secret to save his life. Tom laughed, used to the gentle ribbing, about his infamous tendency to accidentally spoil things during interviews. Yeah, I know. They've got me on a very tight leash these days. Clearly not tight enough, Graham shot back, his tone sharper than usual. I mean, your handlers must have sleepless nights. Do they make you sign something before you leave the house? A promise not to ruin another billion-dollar franchise? The audience laughed, but Tom's smile wavered slightly. It's all in good fun. I've gotten better, honestly. Have you, though? Graham pressed, leaning forward. Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like every time you open your mouth, some poor executive somewhere has a panic attack. Tom shifted in his seat. I think that's a bit harsh. I've done hundreds of interviews and maybe slipped up a handful of times. A handful? Graham's eyebrows shot up theatrically. Tom, there are entire compilation videos. People have made drinking games out of your inability to keep quiet. The audience's laughter was becoming uncomfortable now. A few people glanced at each other, sensing the shift in energy. Tom forced a smile, trying to keep things light. Look, I know it's become a bit of a running joke. A joke? Graham interrupted. Is that what you think this is? Tom, studios lose sleep over you. You're a liability. Every time you do press, someone has to babysit you to make sure you don't accidentally tank the entire marketing campaign. That's not fair, Tom said, his smile fading completely. I'm careful now. I've learned. Have you? Graham leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Or have they just gotten better at controlling you? At keeping you on such a short leash that you can barely breathe without checking with someone first? Tom's jaw clenched. I don't need to be controlled. I'm a professional. A professional, Graham repeated slowly, as if tasting the word. Tom, professionals don't need an entire team dedicated to damage control. Professionals can be trusted to represent their work without supervision. I represent my work just fine, Tom shot back, his voice hardening. Do you? Graham tilted his head. Or do you just show up, say your lines, do your stunts, and collect your paycheck? Where's the artistry in that? Where's the craft? Several audience members murmured uncomfortably. This was going somewhere dark. Tom took a slow breath. I put everything I have into my performances. Every single role. Everything you have, Graham mused. And what exactly do you have, Tom? You're young. You're athletic. You're charming. But are you actually talented? Or are you just good at hitting your marks and looking earnest? I can't believe you're saying this, Tom said quietly. Why? Because no one's been honest with you before? Graham's voice was sharp now, cutting. Everyone around you has a vested interest in keeping you happy, keeping you compliant. I don't. I can actually tell you the truth. This isn't truth, Tom said. This is just you being cruel. Cruel? Please. Graham waved his hand dismissively. I'm being realistic. You're a fortunate young man who caught lightning in a bottle. But let's not pretend you're some kind of acting virtuoso. The audience was dead silent. You could feel the discomfort radiating through the studio. I never claimed to be, Tom said, struggling to keep his voice even. But I work hard. I train constantly. I study the character. I prepare. You prepare, Graham echoed mockingly. For what? To swing around on wires in front of a green screen? To deliver quippy one-liners written by someone else? That's not acting, Tom. That's being a very expensive puppet. Tom's hands gripped the armrests tighter. You clearly have some kind of problem with me. Not with you personally, Graham said with a shrug. With what you represent. This new generation of actors who think showing up is the same as talent. Who think box office numbers equal artistic merit. I never said that, Tom protested. You don't have to say it. It's implied in everything you do. You take these massive paychecks for playing pretend in a superhero costume, and then you act like you're making important art. I never said it was important art, Tom said, his voice rising slightly. But it matters to people. It makes people happy, and there's value in that. Value, Graham snorted. You keep using these words. Value. Important. But what you really mean is profitable. You're a product, Tom. A brand. And you're very, very good at selling yourself. If that's what you think, Tom said tightly, then why am I even here? Why invite me on your show? Good question, Graham said, sitting back with a satisfied smirk. Maybe I wanted to see if there was anything beneath the marketing. Any substance. Any there. And I'm still waiting to find it, Graham said coldly. Right. Well, Tom tried to steer things back. I'm here to talk about the new film, which I think people are really going to love. Are they? Graham interrupted. Or is that just what you've been told to say? Do you actually have opinions of your own? Or do you just repeat whatever's on the card they give you? Tom blinked, genuinely taken aback. Sorry, what? It's a simple question, Graham pressed. Do you have thoughts of your own? Or are you so used to being managed that you've forgotten how to think independently? Of course I have my own thoughts, Tom said, his confusion giving way to irritation. Then share one, Graham challenged. Tell me something real. Something that's not from a press kit or a talking point memo. Tom stared at him. You want me to share something real? How about this? I'm really uncomfortable right now. I came here thinking we'd have a nice conversation, and instead you're interrogating me like I've done something wrong. Uncomfortable, Graham repeated, tasting the word. Interesting. So the moment someone asks you to be genuine, you get defensive. That's not what I'm doing, Tom protested. Isn't it? Graham leaned forward. You're sitting there, getting flustered, because someone's asking you to be more than just a walking advertisement for your movie. Is that really so difficult? You're not asking me anything, Tom said, his voice sharpening. You're attacking me. There's a difference. I'm questioning you, Graham corrected. There's a difference between attacking and refusing to play along with the usual promotional nonsense. This isn't promotion, Tom said. This is you trying to provoke me. Maybe you need to be provoked, Graham suggested. Maybe you've gotten too comfortable with everyone treating you like you're special. Tom's eyes widened. Excuse me? You heard me. You walk around with this air of entitlement, like the world should just bow down because you're in a few big movies. I don't have an air of entitlement, Tom said, his voice incredulous. Where is this even coming from? From watching you, Graham said simply. From seeing how you carry yourself, how you expect to be treated. I expect to be treated with basic respect, Tom fired back. Is that entitlement? When you think respect means no one can challenge you? Yes. Tom shook his head in disbelief. This is insane. You're making up this entire narrative in your head. Am I? Graham's voice rose. Or am I just the first person willing to say what everyone else is thinking? What everyone else is thinking? Tom let out a bitter laugh. Graham, no one is thinking this. This is all you. You'd like to believe that, Graham said with a cold smile. You'd like to believe that everyone loves you, that you're universally adored. But the reality is that plenty of people see right through you. See through me to what exactly? Tom demanded. I'm just curious, Graham continued, his voice dripping with false innocence. You're what, 28 years old? And you've spent your entire adult life playing dress up. Do you ever have an original thought? Or is it all just scripts and talking points? The studio fell quiet. This wasn't banter anymore. This was something else entirely. I think that's incredibly disrespectful, Tom said quietly, his jaw tightening. I work very hard at what I do. Oh, I'm sure you do, Graham said, waving his hand dismissively. Running around in tights, pretending to swing from buildings. Very taxing. I'm sure the physical trainers and stunt coordinators really earn their money keeping you from hurting yourself. You have no idea what goes into it, Tom said, his voice low and controlled. Don't I? Graham raised an eyebrow. Please, enlighten me. Tell me about the grueling, artistic process of memorizing lines someone else wrote and performing stunts someone else choreographed. Tom's fists clenched. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Graham asked innocently. Having a real conversation? I thought that's what you came here for. This isn't a conversation, Tom said. This is you tearing me down for your own amusement. If you feel torn down by a few simple questions, maybe that says more about you than it does about me, Graham suggested. They're not questions, Tom countered. They're insults disguised as questions. You're not trying to learn anything about me. You're trying to humiliate me. Humiliate you? Graham laughed. Tom, if you're humiliated, it's because you know there's truth in what I'm saying. If you were secure in your abilities, in your talent, this wouldn't bother you at all. That's not how it works, Tom said, his voice rising slightly. You can't just attack someone and then blame them for being upset about it. Attack is such a strong word, Graham said. I'm simply pointing out some obvious realities. You're a commercial actor in commercial films. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's not pretend it's more than it is. I never pretended anything, Tom insisted. You're the one making assumptions about what I think and feel. Based on observation, Graham said smoothly. Based on watching you navigate this industry with a shocking lack of self-awareness. Lack of self-awareness? Tom's voice was incredulous now. You're sitting here, on your own show, systematically insulting a guest, and you're accusing me of lacking self-awareness? I'm being honest, Graham said firmly. Something you're clearly not used to. Honesty doesn't require cruelty, Tom shot back. You can be truthful without being vicious. Can you? Graham tilted his head. Or is that just what people say when they don't want to hear uncomfortable truths? What truth? Tom demanded. What truth are you supposedly telling me? That you don't respect my work? That you think I'm talentless? What exactly is the profound truth you're trying to impart here? Graham smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. The truth is that you're ordinary, Tom. Despite all the fame, all the money, all the opportunities, you're just an ordinary person who got extraordinarily lucky. And deep down, you know it. Graham, I don't know what's going on tonight, but this isn't okay. What's not okay? Graham's voice rose slightly. Me asking you real questions instead of lobbing you softballs. Is that what you're used to? Everyone just fawning over you because you've got a famous character on your resume? Because you're the face of a billion-dollar franchise? Because you can do a few flips and look good in a costume? Tom took a deep breath, visibly trying to maintain his composure. I came here to have a conversation, not to be attacked. I came here in good faith. Good faith, Graham repeated mockingly. You came here to promote your movie. Let's not dress it up as something noble. You're here because your publicist told you to be here, because it's good for business, not because you have anything meaningful to say. You don't know why I'm here, Tom said firmly. Don't I? Graham challenged. Then tell me, Tom, why are you here? And don't give me some rehearsed answer about connecting with fans or sharing your passion for the project. Tell me the real reason. The real reason is that I thought this would be fun, Tom said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "I thought we'd have a nice chat, share some laughs, talk about the film. I didn't realize I was walking into an ambush." "An ambush," Graham scoffed. "So dramatic. Is everything in your life this theatrical? Or is that just the actor in you coming out?" "You know what?" Tom said, his voice dropping to an eerily calm level. "I think we're done here." "Attacked?" Graham laughed, but it was cold. "This is attacked? Tom, you're in the entertainment industry. If you can't handle a few pointed questions, maybe you're in the wrong business. Maybe you should go back to doing whatever it was you did before someone handed you a superhero suit and made you famous." "There's a difference between pointed questions and being deliberately rude," Tom replied, his voice steady despite the obvious anger building beneath the surface. "You're not interviewing me. You're trying to tear me down. You're trying to make me look stupid, to make yourself look clever at my expense." "Tear you down?" Graham scoffed. "Please, you've had everything handed to you on a silver platter. You landed one of the biggest roles in cinema history in your early 20s. Do you know how many talented actors would kill for that opportunity? And here you are, acting like you've earned it through some incredible skill, like you're some kind of method actor who suffered for his art." The audience was dead silent now. Several people looked genuinely shocked. A woman in the second row had her hand over her mouth. A man in the back was shaking his head slowly, his face a mask of disbelief. The energy in the room had shifted completely from excitement to something far darker, something uncomfortable and wrong. "I auditioned like everyone else," Tom said, his hands gripping the armrests of the chair so tightly his knuckles had gone white. "I worked for years before that. I trained. I studied. I put in the time. I paid my dues like everyone else in this industry." "You got lucky," Graham countered sharply. "Right place, right time. And now you coast on that luck while actual artists struggle for recognition, while people with real talent can't get in." "Actual artists?" Tom's voice rose for the first time. "Are you serious right now?" "Completely serious," Graham said, leaning back with a satisfied smirk. "You're a product, Tom. A marketable face attached to a franchise. Take away the costume, and what are you? Just another kid who can do a backflip." Tom stood up abruptly, and the sudden movement made several audience members gasp. "I don't have to sit here and listen to this." "Oh, here we go," Graham said, rolling his eyes. "Can't take the heat, so you're running away. How very mature." "Mature?" Tom's voice was incredulous. "You've spent the last 10 minutes insulting me, my work, and my intelligence. And now you're calling me immature for refusing to participate in whatever this is?" "This is called an interview, darling," Graham said with exaggerated patience. "Sometimes they're not all about how wonderful you are." "This isn't an interview," Tom fired back. "This is you using your platform to bully someone because you can. Because you think being behind that desk gives you the right to say whatever you want without consequences." Graham's smile finally faded. "Careful, Tom. You're on my show." "Your show?" Tom let out a bitter laugh. "You keep saying that like it means something. Like it gives you permission to treat people like garbage. Do you talk to all your guests this way? Or am I just special?" "I treat my guests with the respect they deserve," Graham said coldly. "And you think I deserve this?" Tom gestured around the studio. "You think I deserve to be humiliated on national television. Because why? Because you're having a bad day? Because you've decided you don't like me?" "I don't know you well enough to like or dislike you," Graham replied. "But I know your type. Young, successful, coddled by an industry that protects you from any real criticism." "Real criticism would be fine," Tom said, his voice shaking slightly with barely controlled anger. "This isn't criticism. This is you being cruel for entertainment, and I won't be part of it." "So you're just going to leave?" Graham asked, his tone mocking. "Walk off my show because someone finally told you the truth?" "The truth?" Tom shook his head in disbelief. "You don't know anything about me. You don't know what I've been through, what I've worked for, what I've sacrificed. You've sat there for the past 15 minutes, making assumptions and throwing insults. And you call that truth? The audience was shifting uncomfortably. Some people were whispering to each other. The cameras kept rolling. I know you're overrated, Graham said simply. Tom stared at him for a long moment. You know what? I really feel sorry for you. Sorry for me? Graham laughed sharply. That's rich. Yeah, I do, Tom continued. Because you're sitting here on your own show, and the only way you can feel important is by trying to make someone else feel small. That's sad, Graham. That's really sad. Get out, Graham said suddenly, his voice low and dangerous. What? You heard me. Get out. Get off my show. Tom raised his eyebrows. You're kicking me off? You clearly don't want to be here, Graham said, his face flushed. So leave. Go back to your handlers and your safe spaces, where everyone tells you how amazing you are. Gladly, Tom said, pulling the microphone from his lapel. But just so we're clear, I didn't leave because I couldn't handle criticism. I left because you're a bully who hides behind wit and charm to mask the fact that you enjoy hurting people. How dare you? Graham started, but Tom cut him off. No, how dare you? You built a career on being likable, on making people feel comfortable. And tonight, you threw all of that away to what? Prove some kind of point? Make yourself feel powerful? Graham's mouth opened and closed, no words coming out. I've done dozens of talk shows, Tom continued, his voice clear and strong. And every single host has treated me with basic human decency. Even when they poked fun, even when they challenged me, they did it with respect. You're the only one who seems to think cruelty is the same thing as honesty. I don't have to explain myself to you, Graham managed to say. You're right, you don't, Tom agreed. But you might want to explain yourself to them. He gestured to the audience. Because they came here tonight expecting the Graham Norton they know and love, the one who celebrates people. And instead, they got someone unrecognizable. Several audience members nodded. One person near the front was shaking their head in disappointment. Are you finished? Graham asked tightly. Yeah, I'm finished, Tom said. Good luck with the rest of the show. I hope your next guest gets better treatment. He turned to walk away, and Graham called after him. You're making a huge mistake. Tom stopped, turned back. The only mistake I made was thinking this would be a positive experience. I should have trusted my instincts when this started going south. Your instincts? Graham scoffed. Please, you're just upset that someone didn't worship at the altar of Tom Holland. You really believe that, don't you? Tom asked quietly. You actually think this is about my ego and not about you crossing every line of professional conduct? Professional conduct, Graham repeated mockingly. From someone who spoils movies for fun. There it is again, Tom said. You can't help yourself. Even now, you have to get one more dig in. One more insult. It's like you're addicted to it. I'm addicted to honesty, Graham shot back. No, you're addicted to being mean, Tom corrected. There's a difference. Honesty can be delivered with kindness. What you're doing is just cruelty dressed up as candor. The studio was so quiet, you could hear people breathing. The tension was suffocating. I've interviewed hundreds of people, Graham said, his voice rising. Actual legends, icons, and none of them have ever walked off my show. Maybe they should have, Tom replied, if you treated them the way you treated me tonight. They had thicker skin, Graham snapped. Or maybe they just had less self-respect, Tom countered. Maybe they thought they had to sit there and take it because you're Graham Norton and this is your show, and who are they to stand up for themselves? You're being ridiculous. Am I? Tom's voice was calm now, almost eerily so. Let me ask you something, Graham. If someone spoke to you the way you've spoken to me tonight, how would you feel? Graham didn't answer. Exactly, Tom said. You wouldn't tolerate it for a second. But somehow you expect me to sit here with a smile while you systematically try to destroy my confidence and humiliate me in front of an audience. I was doing my job, Graham insisted. Your job is to interview people, to bring out interesting stories, to entertain, Tom said. Your job is not to belittle your guests and make them feel worthless. That's not entertainment. That's just abuse. A woman in the third row started clapping. Slowly, others joined her. Within seconds, a portion of the audience was applauding Tom. Graham looked genuinely shocked. Stop that. Stop clapping. But they didn't stop. More people joined in. You see that? Tom asked. Those are people who came here to support you, to be part of your show. And even they can see that you've gone too far. Graham's face was bright red now. Get out. Just get out. I'm going, Tom said, but I want you to think about something. You had a chance tonight to have a great interview with someone who admired your work, who was excited to be here, and you threw it away because you wanted to feel superior. That's on you, Graham. That's all on you. He started walking toward the exit, his posture straight, his head high. You'll regret this, Graham called after him. Tom paused at the edge of the stage. The only thing I regret is not leaving sooner. The moment you made it clear you had no intention of treating me with respect, I should have walked. I gave you too many chances to course correct. This will ruin you, Graham threatened. Tom turned back one last time, and he was smiling now. Not a happy smile, but a sad, knowing one. No, it won't. Because when people hear about this, when they see the footage, they're not going to see a spoiled actor throwing a tantrum. They're going to see exactly what happened here tonight. They're going to see you reveal who you really are beneath all the charm and the jokes. And who am I? Graham demanded. Someone who forgot that the people sitting in that chair are human beings, Tom said quietly. Someone who got so comfortable with power that you forgot what it feels like to be vulnerable. With that, he walked off the stage. The audience sat in stunned silence, many still looking at Graham with expressions ranging from confusion to outright disappointment. Graham stared after him, his carefully constructed facade crumbling. For the first time in years, he had no witty comeback, no clever quip to smooth things over. Someone in the audience coughed. Another person whispered something to their neighbor. The cameras continued rolling, capturing every uncomfortable second. Graham cleared his throat, trying to regain his composure. Well, that was unexpected, but his voice sounded hollow, empty, and judging by the faces looking back at him from the audience, everyone knew it. The show's producer rushed onto the stage, whispering urgently in Graham's ear. Graham nodded, his expression blank. We're going to take a quick break, he announced to the audience, his trademark enthusiasm completely absent. As the stage lights dimmed slightly and the audience murmured among themselves, one thing was crystal clear. Something had fundamentally broken tonight. The carefully maintained illusion of the friendly, harmless talk show host had shattered, and everyone had witnessed it happen in real time. Tom Holland had walked onto that stage as a guest. He walked off as the only person willing to say what everyone else was thinking. And in those final moments, standing up for his own dignity, he had shown more grace and strength than the man behind the desk could ever claim to possess. The red chairs sat empty now, silent witnesses to a conversation that had spiraled so far beyond the bounds of acceptable discourse that there was no recovering from it. No amount of editing could fix this. No clever joke could smooth it over. It was over, and everyone knew it. The damage was done.